Thank you.
Not too sure how to steer the light.
Thank you for the invitation to this think tank. I would like to talk to you a little bit about art education and other things about knowledge, because artists normally are considered as, wow, can they really be taught? Can they really learn? Or is this not just about talent? Parents ask, where will they end up? Is there any jobs for them? Are they paid? Etc., etc. So teaching in art field is teaching in a field who questions many like comments in our society about knowledge, working spaces, etc. Artists are pioneers who seek to link up apparently disparate worlds in new ways and by new means. They redefine the language of traditional media, materials, and technologies by creating artworks, developing concepts, writing essays, exploring archives, and choreographing bodies in space. Artists are captivated by the never-ending task of experiencing and representing what we call reality in new ways. Quite a performative concept for learning, exploring, and comparing. The method used for the training of artists after bachelor or master degree is that of project work through researching sites and forms, drawing, experimentation of materials and technological processes, an approach of project planning and learning by doing. Artists receive myriad of theoretical inputs that guide them throughout the art laboratories, spaces, and cities and landscapes. There are mainly two elements throughout the learning in the art world that are important. One, individual developing of personal skills, and two, group-based learning how to understand systems, society, techniques, and complex collaborative dynamics. The art system itself, it's a place to meet, find an audience, find a market, find colleagues, develop practical and theoretical knowledge, and discuss and deepen the focus of the artistic inquiry while being exposed to different complementary streams, movements, and trends emerging from society and the contemporary art field. Here you see an image of Mazza. Mazza is an artist group founded by Severin Guelpa in Geneva. And this artist group explores every year a glacier in the Swiss Alps. The group stays 2 weeks in a camp at the border of the glacier with 2 or 3 scientists. The artists do art together or alone. They are developing artworks by technical items, methods, and material they can carry upon the Alps by their own bodies, backpacking it. Performance and curiosity. Encouraged by philosophers, ethnographers, and natural scientists, artists learn by appropriating knowledge and methods of other scientific fields, very often simplifying, summing up, and only using what they understand. Artists are capable to mix and to rely theoretical and practical knowledge, even from very old cultures, to establish a new way of considering and seeing some elements of our society. New is an important and motivating word for their work and learning, because artists can never do the same twice. The author Mary Catherine Bateson and her book, Peripheral Visions, Learning Along the Way, and I like this title, use her background as an anthropologist and her own reflections on our rapidly changing world to propose a new vision of learning through participation. Peripheral Visions begins with a sacrifice in a Persian garden, moving on to the Philippine village and then to the Sinai desert, and concludes with a description of a bus full of Tibetan monks. The author processes a fascinating and surprising intellectual journey that offers a pattern for lifelong growth through learning from experience. In our complex and interdependent world, the tasks of learning are never complete. Peterson encourages us to cast aside familiar habits of learning and interacting so as to engage more successfully with the unexpected and participate in the diverse world which surrounds us. The key to her vision of learning is the discovery of pattern in the unfamiliar, treating it as a resource rather than a threat. Every new situation we encounter is laden with meanings, some immediately obvious and others lying at the edge of awarenessness that are only visible later or out of the corner of the eye through peripheral vision. Zurich, 6 weeks ago, 6 o'clock in the morning, at the railway station. I wait for the train to Bern as a young man steps beside me and asks if this train is going to Geneva. Yes, I answer, and we start immediately to talk. I invite him to have coffee in the dining car. Tea, please, he says, and we talked on further. Engineering, radio waves, Bangalore, space, Calgary were his topics. I tell him that I'm fascinated by the Indian way of fixing things, Jugaad. He laughs and says, I never met a European lady that knows about Indian Jugaad. Jugaad is my life. I have to tell this to my mother, he told me in the end. I got out of the train in Bern. He went on to Barcelona, where he had to talk at a conference about radio waves in space research. The guy is 27 years old. Later, I learned on his website, of course we exchange cards, that he is not only a skilled and already awarded young scholar, but also a young guy, very talented to gather people to learn together, not only in reading groups as we did at our university age, but also by digital exchange, blended learning, and doing broadcasted sessions for the university radio station. Dialogue. The future of learning, in my opinion, tells a multitude of stories, drawing on our own experience of living in our hand and in other cultures, US, India, Philippines, Iran, as well as on family life and life in existing nations, showing the wealth of meaning and interconnection that can be found in transitory experience. We do not need to understand other people and their customs fully to interact with them and learn in the process. It is making the effort to interact without knowing all the rules, improvising in uncertain situations that allows us to grow. Through continual reflection and exploratory interaction with others, we learn to look with new eyes at many contemporary issues, from multiculturalism and information overload and the role of the sacred. Indeed, we have to shed light on problems as large as nationalism, fundamentalism, racism, and the environment, and as personal beings on the echoes of our childhood. Dialogue. I hope that some of us saw Koki Tanaka's vulnerable histories when we entered the Migros Museum 1 hour or 2 hours before. This project centers on a series of conversations in various settings between two protagonists who have not met before. Shadowed by the artist and his camera team, they travel to various locations in Tokyo to grapple with questions of their own cultural identity and the other, and how to take a stand against the simplistic worldview of racist group in Japan. The films that grew out of the project illustrate that coexistence and mutual appreciation are possible if we talk to each other, private as well as public. Dialogue. The exhibition provides a framework for continuing the exchange of ideas that Tanaka initiates. Visitors are encouraged to approach the live speakers who will be present in the gallery behind there for the entire duration of the presentation in this show. Dialogue. Thank you very much.